the worst moments of our life.
Hey girl, hey, that's bad.
So speaking of like worst ever experiences.
That is the worst ever.
I don't feel so good.
And that was my worst audition ever.
How bad can it be?
And we feel that pain is best served funny.
Hold on.
Welcome to Worst Ever Podcast.
Welcome to Worst Ever Podcast.
I'm your host, Christine
I'm
Lakin.
your host. Why isn't my thing working?
Oh my God. The fact of the matter is your masks are not, they're not doing well in the prop department.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Every time you have some message on a mask and then it doesn't, and then it just fails you.
No. Come on. Okay, fuck you. I'm your host, Alaa Khaled. I give up. I'm just trying to protect other people.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. I am so
Christine.
hungover.
From what? I miss booze so much. I miss sitting at a bar. I can't wait to sit at a bar with strangers and I can't wait to go to an airport bar and talk to strangers that are just random people.
I could see how you love an airport bar. It's like literally people you're never going to see again.
I love an airport bar. It's one of my favorite bars.
Yeah.
Besides the price gouging.
The price gouging is horrible.
And the measured pour. I always look at the bartender. I'm like, why are you measuring? Just do it, dude. Just do it. I got you.
Get us wasted. We all have to sleep on this flight. Knock us out. Yeah. No, I went on a walk last night. This is the funny thing. So I have a friend who lives in our neighborhood and we do walks every so often. It's our chance to catch up. But we always bring a roadie, right? So I've got in my fanny pack, I've got my roadie. She's like, I'm bringing a roadie. I'm like, I'm bringing a roadie. So we walk around our neighborhood and we catch up and we drink our roadies. So she took me to this little like lookout that she found because she's like walked all the hills at this point. So we were on like, a friend lover's date. We had our roadies and we went up to the lookout and we're like looking out over the, the valley. And then she's like, do you want to go by the bodega? I mean, do you want to go by the bodega? I'm like, I do. So we went to the bodega, we got a water, and then we got another Budweiser. And we're just like walking around our neighborhood.
Where's the bodega in your neighborhood?
At the corner, at the bottom corner, there's like a little liquor store.
Oh, so you're walking downhill.
Yeah, we walk down, we walk up, we walk around. But then I came home.
It's a long walk.
I walked 20,000 steps yesterday. I walked 9 miles yesterday because we walked for like 3 hours. So the problem is I'm hydrating with Budweiser because I don't realize that I'm like working out.
And we're in a heat wave.
So I'm so hungover because I'm so dehydrated. It's a problem. I know. It's a problem.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be hungover again.
And it's not good. You're not missing anything. It's just as
I know,
bad
but
as
I
it
haven't
always
had
has
a
been.
drink. I hadn't had a drink in weeks, and I'm like, during the beginning of this COVID, I was having happy hour from 3 to 7 every day.
Sometimes two.
On the weekends, sometimes 1:30, 2 o'clock. But so I was like keeping a bottle of vodka here, and I don't ever keep liquor in my house. And since I started this diet and I haven't been drinking, I did have drinks for my birthday, which a lot of fans still missed. And just pointing it out. And so I do miss I have a soda stream now.
Oh, do you like it?
Oh my God, it's life-changing.
Really? Because we go through way too much sparkling water. And I'm thinking maybe I should get a soda stream.
Christine, it is so amazing. And the bubbles, you can manage how much bubbles you want. Like if you want, like I like it really bubbly. Yeah. And so you can, it's a game changer. I can't wait to add alcohol to it, but it makes me feel like I'm having a cocktail because I just have sparkling water over ice.
Yeah.
And it's game changer. So do
you know what I made the other day?
Go.
A shrub. Do you know what a shrub is?
No.
A shrub is like it's like an old fashioned cocktail mixer. It has no alcohol in it, but it's like would be the base, say, for like a gin or a vodka cocktail. And it's made with it's like a simple syrup, and then you put a fruit in there. I did raspberries, but you could do pear, whatever. And then you strain the fruit out, and then you add apple cider vinegar.
Oh, weird.
I know.
So,
And then to that would be the base of your cocktail. And then you would put in your liquor, and then you would put in like soda, or sometimes some people do like a ginger beer. It kind of tastes like a kombucha with, because it's kind of vinegary, you know?
yeah,
It
I don't
kind of tastes
like
like kombucha
kombucha.
with, okay, well, then you're not going to
But
like
it's good. But it's good for heartburn.
There you go. It's like the heartburn cocktail. Okay, well, before our guest comes on today, I wanted to go back into the archives of some of the stories that I think we haven't touched on the podcast, stuff that we did in our live show years ago. But I think it would be super funny to just talk about some of these like random experiences and jobs and things.
Right.
So I'm going to tell the story of when I was doing the movie The Hottie and the Naughty. So if you've seen it, congratulations, you're the one. I get this movie. I was going out for it. It's to play this girl, June Fig. She's got a lot of ailments, you know, she's basically ugly duckling. Okay. But it's like to the extreme. And then she has this best friend, and they end up getting into this quasi love triangle with this other guy. And like, she ends up, you know, kind of becoming this like normal looking person by the end, and he falls in love with her, blah, blah, blah. It's a romantic comedy. It's silly and cute. So I find out, I get the movie, and I'm like so excited. I think it's going to be super fun to be like all uglified and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is going to be a real like challenge for me as an actor. I'm like thinking of like, you know, Raging Bull. I mean, completely not that like whatsoever, but I'm really going deep.
Well,
And
hold on a second. Hold on a second before you go further. Do you know at this time who you'll be working with?
No.
Got it. Go ahead.
So I get the movie, and then they're like, okay, so you've gotten it. So your best friend is going to be played by Paris Hilton. And I'm like,
okay, that's where I'm at.
I was like, oh,
you went from Raging Bull to
yeah. But then I'm like, oh, I mean, all right. I mean, oh gosh, I don't know if we're gonna have anything to talk about. Like, how is that going to be? So I'm like a little nervous, you know, because at the time, we're talking like 2009. This is like height of tabloids. This is like height of, you know, paparazzi, Nicole Richie, people getting arrested. Like, there was a lot going on. Cut to, we meet. She's so lovely. And I've told people this for years and years. She is not who you think she is. And I was surprised. I mean, myself, I guess we all have preconceptions about people. And truly, I adore her. And I had such an incredible time working with her. We had a lot of fun. But the point of this story is, so we are rehearsing with the director, and there's an acting coach, and we're having rehearsals, and we're having fittings, and we're having table reads and things like that. And I had gone down to the makeup artist's house because I had to get prosthetics, like fitted for all these insane moles, and weird
because you needed like zits and things.
Oh, it was like my hair is falling out, like crazy stuff. Right. So I'm down, like, you know, and I'm wearing like sweats because I'm gonna be doing this all day, and I have to have my face casted and blah blah blah. So I get this text from her, and she's like, "Hey, bitch, do you want to go out tonight? I have tickets to Justin Timberlake. Do you want to come with?" And I was like, I mean, yes, that sounds amazing. She's like, great, just be to my house by this time. Here's the address. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, great. This will be so much fun. So I am in my sweats. I'm in like Manhattan Beach, and she lives in West Hollywood, and there's no time to go home and get new outfits. So I literally, I just kind of hightail it up to her house. First time I've ever been to her house. I get to the back door. There's like no gate. There's like a gate, but there's not like a doorbell. I'm like knocking. I'm like for that person that's like, hello, are you there?
Have you met this person yet? You have met her.
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, we had table reads. Yeah. And she's lovely. Like I was, like I said, I was super.
But this is your first social event with her.
First
like
social going out. Right. So I finally, like, I guess the door, I get like somehow the buzzer, I don't know. I get through the gate, but then there's just like nobody in the backyard. And I'm kind of thinking like, does anyone know I'm here? And I'm traipsing through the backyard. I'm like kind of expecting like someone to, you know, come and tackle me and tell me to like get out of the yard. I walk into her house. Like, hello. I see like there's like cats, there's like monkeys, there's like dogs. It's like a zoo. There's all these different animals. And we go up to her closet, which is like a huge room of like,
There's
I mean, it's
monkeys?
amazing. She had monkeys at the time. Yeah, she had 2. They were in a cage,
Okay.
but I mean, the habitat.
In the house or outside the house?
That was outside the house. But then there was also like a massive dog house that was like a house, and that's for all the little dogs. And then there were these cats that I thought were like crouching when I came in because they were like, their paws were like this, but they were midget cats.
Small
people
not use
cats?
that word.
I don't know. What are you supposed? What's for cats?
They're small cats.
Small cat cats. They're small cats. I didn't know there was such a thing, but they're like these little platypus cats. They're very cute.
They have short. They have like little short legs, right?
Very short legs. Yeah.
They're miniature cats, but we don't use the word midget.
But they're not miniature.
So if you could, I know, but you need to do a public apology.
Okay.
Like all the other celebrities. Otherwise, cancel culture. We're gonna get canceled.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, cats. I don't know. I'm sorry, cats.
And they're
allegedly they're cats with short legs.
Small cat cats.
So anyway, so I get up to the closet. You know, we're like hanging out. We're having a great time. She's getting ready to go. And she literally looks at me. She's like, "Are you wearing that?" I'm in like sweats, UGG boots, and a t-shirt. And I'm like, I don't have anything else. She's like, "Oh my God, borrow something." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm 5'1". Like, you're like 5'9". Like, I don't think it's gonna. She's like, "No, there's got to be something here that's gonna fit." She's like rifling through the closet, finally finds a shirt. She's like, "This has got to be good. This will fit you." So I put it on. It's like big, but it's passable. Okay, we can make it work. And then she's like, "The shoes. Oh God, can't wear those shoes." I mean, they were big, ugly, furry UGG boots. And I was like, "Well, She goes, no, we're gonna make this happen." She was like a size 9. And I'm trying to just like squeeze my feet in. I'm like, my feet are falling out of these shoes. I'm like, it's not gonna happen. She's like, "Oh, all right, fine, let's just go." So the car comes to pick us up, and we and it's me and her, and I think it was just me and her. And then we go down and we pick up Nicole Richie, and she gets in the car, and we're all like, you know, like getting ready to go to Justin Timberlake downtown. We're having like a great time in the car. We end up going to the concert. Amazing seats, amazing concert. We go to get like snacks in the middle, having like hot dogs and popcorn and soda and all this stuff. And again, this is like height of paparazzi times, right? And she and Nicole had like a falling out, but now they were back together and they were friends and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And the next day, TMZ comes out to, I guess, report on the incident. And they're like, "Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton seen out with tween friend," which is me.
You're the tween?
Because I'm wearing UGG boots and apparently look like I'm their tween friend.
Aren't you like older than they are?
Yes, by like a lot, I feel like. I'm like, this is totally my fate. Like, you know, here I am in my late 20s, and I'm thinking to myself, like, and it like height of all of this, you know, paparazzi culture. And I'm like, I'm going out with these like 2 very famous girls, and I of course get called tween friend. I mean, that would be my fate. Let's be honest. By the way, did you see she came out with a documentary?
I heard. I can't wait to watch it. Speaking of documentaries, and we'll talk about this in our solo show coming up soon, I hope.
The Vow?
I just started episode 1. They're just introducing
4.
They're just introducing Allison Mack.
Oh, Alaa, it's hard for me to watch sometimes.
Can we reach out to Allison after this, please?
I mean, I think we should.
Can't you just text her? Can't you just text her?
I don't have her phone number. I don't have her phone number.
Don't you someone that would have it in the group of tweens?
Mean, I know that Diane, reached out to her mom. Someone was also just sentenced. I think it was Barbara Boucher. And
I want to reach out if you would.
Sentenced.
If you would, I would love you to reach out and just explain that we've talked about the podcast and you've known Allison for years. If you reach out to the director and the 2 documentarians.
Yeah, I don't know that she's allowed to talk about any of it, honestly, because she'd be
promoting The Vow.
Well, listen, she doesn't want to promote The Vow. I don't
No, I'm
think
not
she
talking
wants
about
to be.
Allison. I'm talking
Oh.
about the director and the woman. Forget her name. With the dark hair that's in the documentary.
Oh, yes.
We got to reach out to them, and we got to get them on here.
So get this, Claire
Go ahead.
Bronfman, who was one of the Seagram's heirs to NXIVM.
Yes.
She was like one of the, So she was sentenced yesterday. She was a member of NXIVM for 15 years, sentenced yesterday, I think 9 years in prison.
That's not bad. That's less than I thought she'd get.
Oof.
By the way, Nicki Minaj just gave birth to her first child. All right, go ahead. Just got a TMZ
It's crazy
update.
though. I just want to tell you though, and we'll talk about it after you watch it. The thing that's hard for me about watching it is that it's this person that you and I knew.
Right.
And when you see all this found footage, because there's so much footage, it's crazy.
I know. I'm
it's
so excited about it.
So the guy who is making the documentary was also the documentarian essentially for NXIVM.
Correct.
He was like the archiver.
He's got the archives.
Yeah, and like watching Allison be her normal Allison self.
Right.
But kind of in this thing that quite frankly, when you watch like episode 1, you're like, I see why people get hooked into this thing because it doesn't seem.
No,
it actually seems like really. You're like, great.
No,
this
I said to my friend,
helped a lot of people until it didn't.
No, I said to my friend, I go, watching the first episode, I want to join. I want to join this group.
Yeah, totally.
I would be a star in there.
Exactly.
But I would be Keith Raniere's best friend.
Like Mark Vicente. Yeah, isn't it crazy though? But then like as you get in like deeper and deeper and they start talking about this other thing, this vow, like the DOS thing that happened.
Right.
And
the
calorie
scarves
counting.
are horrible, by the way. The scarves are horrible. Horribly sewn. Horribly sewn.
Well, but as you see sort of the change in Allison, oh God, she's
allegedly.
She's so thin, Alaa.
Oh yeah, I saw that. But there were certain moments where they're doing like certain flashbacks and you could see her in the background and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's like acting class. She's like her acting class persona. Like
bubbly, vivacious, a little
always
attention
smiling.
seeking, but always, open.
She's the one person that's always been able to smize. She smizes.
Smize. Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of sad. I'm having some feelings about it.
Well, we got to reach out.
I feel regret for her. I feel bad for her a little bit.
Yeah, we got to reach out.
That she got herself so deep into this.
We got to get you to really reach out.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
She could use our friendship.
I feel like she could use help. I mean,
I wouldn't call it help. I'd call it friendship. She needs some normal. She needs a little Alaa. She needs a little Christine. We could reminisce about our time in Paris at the La Louisiane and how I made it sound like I was getting chocolates on my pillow every night and you guys were in bunk beds. Long story. That's another story. But is our guest here yet?
Yeah. Shall we
yeah.
We should let him in. Let him in. Okay. Are you going to introduce him?
I'll introduce him.
Here he comes. He's like, he's texting us. He's like, am I on the right link?
Yeah. So our next guest is an old but good friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years. He is a former Mouseketeer. He is a member of The Party, the musical group from the 90s. He is a redheaded ace, as we used to call him, Chase, the redheaded ace. And I've seen him, talk to him, but we haven't had him on the podcast. We've had most of The Party on here. So I wanted to add him to the mix because we have so many great fucking stories together. So please welcome Jason Hampton.
Jason. Oh, yeah. He's still connecting to the audio.
Good. Let me get my mouse ears on, ready for him.
No, wait, just so I remember, you were Chase's guardian.
I'm Chase's guardian.
No one makes a grilled cheese like you.
I know. I love a grilled cheese too. Jesus.
Hi.
Hey, Chase, do you have technical difficulties? What's happening?
There we go, kids.
Oh,
So
there you are. Oh, look at you. He's such a fucking bragger. Look at you with all the screens as if you're
it's
making
just a
music right
laptop.
now.
It's all a
You're
facade,
making
and I am
like
making
you're
music right now.
yeah. He's always making music. This kid's always making music. This
Hi,
kid
Chase.
I was
Welcome to
telling
the podcast.
Thanks so much.
Chase, did you hear the Damon episode?
I did.
Do you need to change anything that was said or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay,
I mean,
good.
do you have anything in mind? In what regards? Do you have anything
No,
in
I'm
mind?
I was hoping that you were coming on and you were going to say how much of a great guardian I was.
Of course, that's a given.
And
If I really needed to say it.
How
You
I
don't have
helped
to be
raise
nice to him, Chase.
how I helped raise you. I have so much shit to talk about with Chase, and let me tell you why. Because we are like brothers. So whatever I say, he gets. I'm not insulting. I know most of the fans think I'm an asshole, but Chase gets you get the persona and who I am. I've always been this way. This isn't fake. This is the real deal. Let's start with the beginning of your career, Chase. Shall we?
Wow. Let's do it.
Go.
Wow. Okay. Well, for those who don't know, I hail from Oklahoma City, and I come from kind of a long line of like preachers and farmers, and this is everything that none of my family would really be doing. My dad was into like theatrical stuff when he was a kid, but in Oklahoma, there's really not too much to do as far as that goes. So I would do like local commercials and competitions, talent competitions.
When we say local commercials, like mattress companies, car dealerships.
Yeah,
Excellent.
model for an ad for the paper for something, or a quick commercial for a local milk ad or something like that.
I love that kind of
when
stuff.
they would come up, so I was really into it. I loved it. But more than anything, I loved singing and dancing. And there was like these local competitions that would happen called Oklahoma Kids that everybody would do. And it was kind of a nonprofit thing. And I made it to the top right off the bat, right when I got into it, made a bunch of friends. And I was kind of that kid at school that had, didn't really fit in. I was introverted, but here I found this group of kids that had kind of common ground, and we kind of built off each other, much like I did later in the Mickey Mouse Club. But it's funny, out of this Oklahoma Kids group, Blake Shelton was actually a part of this group as well.
No way.
How old are you?
Later on. Yeah, later on. What's that?
How old are you at this time?
I was probably 10, 11, actually 9, 10, and 11, right before Mickey Mouse Club. And it was kind of leading me up to that moment and getting me ready for that moment that I didn't really know was coming.
And your family was supportive?
Yeah, they were like, if this is what you want to do, this is great. And the fact that I was winning the awards, and I was winning, and some of them were cash awards. It was real fun. I was really feeding off, just winning and trying to figure out how to do it.
Let me interrupt you real quick. Chase's parents, Bill Hampton and Kenyan, there's not a room in their home where there's not a photo of Chase performing in some sort of shrine. They are showbiz parents to the extent of proudness. Go ahead.
Right. So like they didn't come from that history, but they were so proud and like really supported me, and just kind of through I was doing lessons every day, and it was like a whole thing. Local talent shows at school, all that crap. But at school, I was a completely different person. And then that moment came when I got a random call. My dad got a random call at work about this audition that was happening in Dallas. And they said, you need to have your son go there. At this point, I was kind of well known in Oklahoma because they would call on me. I was doing like, I found a way to win. This is what my dad did. My dad's like a total competitive guy. He found a way to win these competitions. He said, Chase, if you want to win, Chase, do a patriotic song. Okay. And I was like, nah, Dad, I want to do a cool song. I want to do something that's on the radio. I want to do Poison or Bon Jovi. No, Chase, if you want to win. So at that point, actually, the Challenger had just actually blown up, the space shuttle, right? So my dad's like, here's what you're going to do, all right? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to dress up in a tuxedo. You're going to go out on stage, and you're going to sing Memory from Cats. All the other girls are dressing up like cats when they sing Memory. So they would all dress up like cats and sing Memory from Cats. He's like, you're going to go out to sing Memory from Cats, and you're going to fold a flag, and you're going to lay it down right next to this easel. And on the easel is going to be a picture of the Challenger, the crew of the Challenger.
Wow.
And I was a kid, and so I would do this, and I would see the crowd's reaction. They would just start pouring, and I got called to do it at the state capitol, and I'd get called for all these big conventions. So I was kind of well known. So people would call my dad and say, hey, this opportunity came up. got me to Dallas. I literally got there at like 1 a.m, checking into the hotel at the Galleria at Dallas. And I'll
Love
never
that
forget
Galleria, by the way.
it. Right. So I was checking, there's literally nobody in the lobby. It was me and my mom and another cat. It was one of my dance teachers that went with me. He was staying with me at the time. And we went down there, and I heard this kind of ruckus at the other end of the lobby as we were checking in. It was literally 1 a.m. And these people kind of stumbling in, having fun. And they go, "Hey, are you here for the Mickey Mouse Club audition?" Across the way. And I had my jams on. I don't know if you remember jams.
I had jams.
I had my jams. I had
Yep.
my boombox. I had my little briefcase full of all my
Sure.
cassette tapes that I was going to perform to. I was ready to go. So I walked, I still had, they were like, "You here for the Mickey Mouse Club audition?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And they said, "You want to audition right now? We're the casting directors." And I said, "Let's go." And I started walking over there, and they go, No, we're just kidding. We'll see you tomorrow." And unbeknownst to me, that moment was like a pinnacle moment for me, because the next day it came along. People were already lined up before the sun rose, over 1,000 people there. The moment I walked in the room, he remembered me, and it kind of made all that nervousness go away.
Right.
I could be like a real kid. I could be like a real person with him. And he's like, "Just show me what you got. I see you got all your tapes." And I did all my stuff. And he's like, "Why don't you come around and sit with me, and we'll just call in the next person." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I never came out of the room.
So you're like,
so my
all of a
mom,
sudden now I'm in the casting director seat.
yeah, I didn't really know what was happening, but it was obviously amazing. It was fun and exciting.
Yeah.
And so then my mom actually peeked her head in about 40 minutes later and goes, "I'm just checking on my son." And he's like, "No, we didn't kidnap him. He's in here. He's helping us." And then they sent me off to an interview. They said, "You're going to go do an interview right now." And it was for Mary Hart's Entertainment Tonight. And I was just like, what is happening right now? And they were like, it was in a side room with all this stuff set up. And they were like, "Well, they really like you." And I was like, "They do? They really like me? Oh, wow. I didn't know. I don't know anything. This is like just happening right now." And I went back to school for a while, and I got called to do a little screen test that I had to show up for, just to keep sending stuff to them. But I didn't hear from them for a long time. And then I got a telegram at school. They called me to the office. "You got a telegram," it was like exciting. And
Was it like by pigeon?
Yeah, they read it over. Isn't that crazy? We're so old. They read it over the speaker, "Yeah, you've been chosen to be on the Mickey Mouse Club."
What?
And at that point, it was a movie. When I auditioned, it was a movie. It was called Why Because We Like You. And there was a huge writer's strike in '89. I don't know if you remember that. Everything
Right.
shut down. Everything shut down. All the talk shows shut down. So because they were still doing this show, actually, everything shut down. So they stopped doing the movie. But Disney was like, "We're still building this theme park in Florida, okay? And we're not going to stop, because we're building a theme park, and we're going to have people come and watch it on the tour and the whole bit. We want a live-in set. We want these guys to be a live-in set on our thing, on our."
So it was
park.
like an attraction.
We were an attraction.
Right, so
just killing two birds with one stone. We brought on the channel.
Just to explain, everyone. So Disney built a theme park based on television and film called,
Like
at
Universal,
that time,
right.
it was called, like Universal. At that time it was one of the first of its kind besides Universal, but all Disney and at that time it was Disney MGM Studios.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, and other people would come in and film. They'd rent out the sound stages and stuff. But because the tour always went through and was always watching from above, they wanted this live-in set. So, most people get kind of the facade set when you go and show up on your set in California. This set was like a mansion. This set was like a playground beyond playgrounds, because they wanted it to look cool. The audience could come in and sit. It was an attraction in itself. And I think they really wanted us for that, but it really took off on the Disney Channel more than I think they ever even perceived.
Well, it launched the Disney Channel.
It helped to launch it, and they could tell that by the subscription-based, because of the model that they had then.
Right.
You had to pay for it, and they would say, "Why are you getting Mickey Mouse? Why are you getting Disney?" And they'd say, "We love the Mickey Mouse Club." Most of the things they were running on there were like Pooh's Corner, and it was very kind of toddler stuff. So this is kind of the first time they got into some serious conversations, and they actually went deep on the Mickey Mouse Club more than most people realize. They would talk about divorced parents and racial stuff. And Ryan White was going to come on the show at one point right before he died. I'll never forget. We were being trained on how to talk to someone that had HIV and AIDS. And so just being in that and learning that, because we were still kids and naive, and we're still in school. We still had to do all this stuff. It was crazy.
When you auditioned, was there anyone else in Dallas that made that season, the premiere of it, that you saw?
From that, we actually went and did a callback at the studios in California. They did like a screen test. And at that screen test, they told me who we were gonna be. I was gonna be Lonnie. Tiffany was gonna be Annette. All right, and so that's the first time I met Tiffany.
Yeah.
And I met Jennifer there. Jennifer, I think, was gonna be Darlene, if I remember right.
Right.
And there was another guy, Trey Parker, that was there, who ended up being in Newsies.
Oh,
and
Trey,
some other stuff,
yeah,
who's
right.
obviously one of our great friends. He
and
he was gonna be Bobby.
Lindsay Alley, was she in the original?
Lindsay wasn't there that I remember.
Okay.
But then they immediately just they said, okay, that's scrapped. And they literally just took our pictures off one board and said, okay, we're going to put you over here now. We're going to do this show. We'll just do it as a show and we'll put it on the channel because we own this medium and we can just do that. And then it ended up being really great. So that's the Mickey Mouse Club anyway. And then you want me to keep going? You want to go into the party?
Well, no, I want to ask you a couple more questions.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I want to ask you a question. Chase, when you were doing the Mickey Mouse Club, did your mom go with you?
Yes. Yeah. So another like those guys are the heroes. And I mentioned this at MMC 30. I made all the parents stand up. I go, you really want to know the true heroes of this? It's our parents. Because they literally picked up and moved. We weren't California kids. They specifically went out and got people in the Midwest and all these odd places to make us real, more real. And yeah, our parents trusted the process, amazingly enough. And usually it was one parent that moved and one parent stayed. But some of the parents ended up moving completely. My parents are still in Florida. And then as soon as the show was over, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm going to California. See ya.
Right.
So then.
And you're an only child?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell?
I was lucky in that aspect, but most weren't, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why, and as Alaa will tease me about, it's a lot of the reason why I get emotional about these guys a lot when I talk about them, because they are truly my brothers and sisters. You know, I'd never had that.
Yeah.
That's who I lean on all the time. I still call so many of them.
And knowing Chase at such a young age, I mean, you pretty much grew up in Orlando. You're growing your adolescence and just like becoming a man was sort of in that time period, right? He was always, and I say this kindly, he was always the awkward one. He was always like the third wheel. So, or you know, it's true, right? Like you were like the redheaded stepchild in a sense. But here's what was crazy: is like Chase's talents, his voice is like insane. Like he's got, and I always get mad at him because I said as soon as the Mickey Mouse Club was over, he wanted to come and do albums and rock and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're a dumbass. You need to move to New York and do Broadway. You would be a huge star on Broadway. Yeah. He doesn't listen to anything, of course. But like, for an example, like remember, okay, Scott Winger played Aladdin. Christine and I know Scott very well. Chase, you auditioned for Aladdin, or the song that didn't make Aladdin, Chase sang for Disney.
It was basically between me and him at the very end.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And that song, that song,
I like to do it the baritone
that
version.
Song,
proud of your boy.
Song the song that Chase never did it end up going in the sequel? Proud of Your Boy.
I've seen guys perform it. Yeah, I think so. Because I've seen guys sing it since. So it's gotten
I love that song, and I remember distinctly when Chase sang, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is your job. You are Aladdin. There is no way." Yeah, like those opportunities happen, and then, but we had so many memories in Orlando. I mean, with Albert, it was Albert, Chase, and Damon, and a couple of us outsiders, right? But it was
you had the car. So you got to remember, you had the car.
I had the car. So
I was I was the oldest, you know, besides Alaa. In the Mickey Mouse Club, I was kind of the older guy, so I eventually got the car. But Alaa had the car, so he'd come pick. We'd be like, we're going out, and he'd pick us up, and he'd have the BMW with the top down, and we'd be cruising down I Drive, just blaring music, and just we'd jump out and start dancing. I'll never forget those days.
Good Lord.
Yeah, we had the best.
We'd get kicked out of the Crab Shack.
It was our playground for sure. We had a great time.
We had so much fun, and then
so how many years? So how many years on the Mickey Mouse Club before the party came around?
I was there 3 seasons. I was there from the pilot and then to season 3, and we jumped into the party at that point. That's when Hollywood Records was formed, and they decided to do that route. And because we were still under contract with Mickey Mouse Club, we were still technically on the Mickey Mouse Club. So season 4, we would come on and do interstitials on the Mickey Mouse Club as the party. And there was no internet back then. So if you think about it, Disney's brilliant. they would just promote our shows and promote the party before and after and during the Mickey Mouse Club. So it would be the ads, and they would just stick them in. So we'd show up at a mall or something as the party, and it would just be like mayhem, you know, because they had the free advertising, you know, that most people didn't have access to. And then, so season 4, I was still on it. Season 5 and 6, we were not on the show pretty much at all. And then I came back season 7 as a host with Tiffany. So we hosted the last season. So it was real cool to actually experience being the older guy with the Britneys and Christina and little Ryan and Justin and all those guys, JC and all of them. Yeah, it was fun to reconnect with them, but kind of reconnect with them with a little more info to send them off into the world. Because we had just done the party experience. I'd be like, okay, here's what you guys got to do. You got to write your own songs. You need a manager, you know?
Right. And did you see I mean, you were older obviously by that point, but did you see sort of like a difference already in maybe the savviness of that new crop of kids versus like when you guys were just like, we're doing this thing called the Mickey Mouse Club.
Sure.
We've got kids from everywhere.
They were inventing the wheel as they were going. So the schedules were so insane. And when we started, we were doing a show a day, much like a soap opera. So, you know, it wasn't like you got your script on Monday and you rehearsed the next day and then, I'm not even in this week, you know, I can lay low. It was like you got your script every morning, and that's what you were doing that day. You know, and it was the fact that we could remember and retain and actually pre-record stuff and do B-roll before, and they could edit all that together was insane. But by the time I came back, they killed that schedule, and they were doing like 2 or 3 shows a week, not a show a day. And then they would just, as they played it on the air, it would be a show a day, and we would just stretch out how long it took us to film it. But it was such a crazy schedule, and then the amount of kids. But yeah, those kids were watching us before they auditioned, so they were already kind of, you know, they knew what to do. They came in, they already knew the rap at the end of the song. They knew how to come in and just be part of the gang. But to that sense, you know, we as good of friends as we all are, we're kind of a competitive bunch. You know, we were all the best of where we were in our locations. So when we all got put in a room together, it was like, oh damn, I'm not as good as I thought I was. You know, and I see Albert dancing, and I'd have to pick it up like 10 notches just to keep up with him. Or someone would be singing, and Christina could sing like that when she was there. You know, when she was that tiny. So we actually really put each other on pedestals, and actually it was a great training ground, I guess, because we would learn from each other. We'd be like, I like what you're doing there. I'm going to use that. And then how'd you do that? Show me this step, you know, but it ended up being like 30 kids, something, you know, so.
Right. Wow. But and there were cliques too.
Sure. Oh, yeah, of course.
And so it was almost like a high school mentality at some point where you're like, there are those cliques and people are left out, and, you know, it's not the best, and you're working, everyone's sort of living in the same kind of complex too. Like everyone's sort of like moving. So it's a lot of the
Another
same
reason
people.
why we bonded too. I think that's why it became such a spiritual experience for all of us, even the cast, I mean, even the crew, because it wasn't like, you know, I was in California and I just went to the set and then I checked out and I just went home and I'm with all my stuff. It was like, we all got moved to this weird location, even a lot of the crew members. So it's like, no one had anybody else. So after work, it's like, hey, see you at the hot tub. What are we having tonight? You know, it's barbecue night. You know, Alaa's coming over. We're going to, you know, Pleasure Island.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, right.
It got ancestral too, you know, almost, you know, there was a lot of different relationships coming out. I mean, we talked about Damon and Brandy, and there was, and the whole, you know, I mean, I could talk about Dee Dee, I could talk about Albert, I could talk about Carrie Russell, and, you know, all these, like, because you're teenagers, raging hormones, and everyone is
these are the only people you see.
That's right.
Right.
That's
and you're working 12 to 14-hour days. Their schedule isn't normal kids' schedules. They were abusing there's no union in Florida. It's a right to work state.
Right. So so for the certain amount of seasons, that was happening. Yeah, the hours and all that stuff were insane and not what you would see in California or some other places. And eventually that ended up changing. So the show actually had a good part, and the shows that were happening at Nickelodeon at that time had a big part of SAG moving in there and making some good laws for Florida. And it's not like they were trying to abuse us. They were trying to get their show done. They were trying to do their thing. And granted, we actually loved doing it. I don't think anyone would say they didn't want to be there.
No.
We all loved. It was like, oh, I get to be the lead singer of this song, and I get to slide down this, and I get to do this, and there's gonna be lasers going off. All right, where do I sign up? Let's film till midnight. But yeah, as an adult now, I'm like, wow, I can't believe we actually did some of those things.
Yeah.
I have neck injuries.
Yeah.
So then, well, real quick, because I want to touch on a little bit. So the party was happening, and it was sort of like at the end, and then me, you, Albert was already living in California. Me, you, your girlfriend at the time. Who else moved out there? Carrie had just moved out there. Carrie Russell, because she had done Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Mm-hmm.
But me and you moved out at the same time. My second night there, I was at Chase's apartment because my apartment wasn't ready yet in Studio City. I was at Chase's apartment, which all he had was a couch, and I slept in a sleeping bag upstairs. By the way, Chase is the person I tried pot with for the first time in my life, which we'll talk about that experience.
Oh God.
That's okay. Oh yeah. No, which I literally, they were going to take me to the hospital. I flipped out. So my second night was Northridge earthquake at Chase's. I ran down the stairs and see you and your girlfriend just going back and forth on the couch because you had no furniture yet. It was
right. I was waiting on the bed to be made. I was waiting on some furniture to be delivered. And we totally forgot you were upstairs because that was such a crazy moment. And then all of a sudden you're like, hello? I'm like, oh my God, guys.
And we had never been in an earthquake of that magnitude before in our lives. Our cars were being delivered that day, remember, to Dee Dee's family's house?
Yes.
And so we're riding down Melrose to pick up our cars from Florida, and everyone's like, get off the road! There's glass everywhere. We had no idea what to expect. We had no groceries. We couldn't find food. What was the diner that was on Sunset that we used to go to?
Ben Frank's.
Oh. Ben Frank's.
It turned into it. I think you were trying to think of that. You were trying to think of that in Damon's interview.
Yeah,
too,
I could not remember. Yeah.
I was like, Ben Frank's.
So Ben Frank's. Thank you, Jesus. So I mean, it was chaos. But so we all moved to LA together as like Southern kids who thought Hollywood. I mean, Chase, Damon, and those guys, and Albert, they had a career already. I was starting my career after college, even though I had been around the industry because of them so much, like especially on tour and being Chase's guardian, which you could talk about how that came about, Chase.
Yeah. Can we talk about that? How in the hell were you picked for that, Alaa? Like, was there literally no one else that could do it?
No one else. Well, he was always there, and he had definitely earned his trust. I mean, he was an honorary character, like he is now. But but they all knew his heart. Everybody who knows Alaa knows Alaa. So, and they know his. And once you've met his family, and you know. So, yeah. What? What happened?
You froze, but I can hear you.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
That's all right. He'll come back in.
Okay.
So you were how old when he was your guardian?
13, probably 14. 14
No.
15.
No. You were
13,
15.
14?
Well,
14, 15?
It was the summer of 1990. It was the summer of 1990 because I went to college right after. Summer of 91. Summer of 91. Sorry.
That makes the party years were like 14, 15, 16. So it had to have been in there for sure. When
it was
as
third
teenage
album.
Boys were honoring, we're trying to get in trouble at that point. But yeah, so my parents both worked. A lot of the parents had one parent that didn't work. So a lot of times the parent could actually travel. My mom's a school teacher and my dad worked at an insurance company and they couldn't do it. So they had to kind of trust the next best thing. And usually it was our hairdresser who had this gorgeous long blonde hair.
Brent Levesque, you can find him on Instagram.
He was a lady killer. Yeah, amazing stylist, amazing hairdresser. And he was beautiful for me. He was very kind. I think Damon's sister did it at some point. You did it, a number of people, and
wow,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was probably
cool.
Fun for Alaa to have a little responsibility like that.
But listen, all we did was shop. Go to Bar One, go to Ben Frank's. Like it was literally every day we went to a mall every day, every single day. And what the ironic thing is, this is the ironic thing. The party was performing. Remember, I bought that red suit from at the Beverly Center. It was like $1,000 suit. I bought the red zip up suit, which I think I still have in my parents' house. And you were performing at APLA, at Universal Studios in their amphitheater, in their theater there, and it was a benefit concert for AIDS, and you guys were performing, and we were in the green room afterwards, the after party, and
nice.
I was in line at the buffet, like the snacks buffet. You know, I love a food tray. I was in line right behind Alyssa Milano. Had never met her yet.
Wow.
It was her and Scott Wolf. And I was right behind her. She had really short hair because I guess she had just done the, whatever that movie was, the dragon movie, whatever. And I was behind her in line. I was like, oh, that's Alyssa Milano, blah, blah. But years later, I ended up meeting her and becoming best friends, which was just, it was just weird.
That backstage was nuts. I actually remember that very well.
Yeah.
I remember Robin Williams back there entertaining everyone that was around him. Yeah, that was a wild,
it was crazy.
That was a wild time.
And then your relationship, like with the new kids, was interesting, right? Go ahead and touch on that.
New Kids on the Block?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had more of a relationship with them. They came on the show, obviously, and we got to watch their concert, and they came on the Mickey Mouse Club, and we got to hang with them a little bit. But through the years, we would catch up with them. When we were in LA, we used to stay at the Mondrian. And Jordan and John would come pick us up because they could drive at that point and we couldn't still. And so they would come pick us up and take us over to Bar One, or we'd go hang out at the club. And these guys are super kind, beautiful hearts, all of them. And Donnie as well. Anytime Donnie would come over, same situation.
Yeah,
like,
he used to take us to Ben Frank's after Bar One. We used to all pile in their car and just drive over and eat. And it was like surreal, but like at the same time felt normal. It was so weird. And for those of you who don't know what Bar One is this 21 and over nightclub. But at that time in the 90s, it really didn't matter as long as you had some sort of celebrity.
You'd be like, what's up, Drew?
Yeah, so there'd be like there'd be Chase, who's like 15 years old, and like Prince is at the table across. It was like it was during the time where celebrities and paparazzi and people were going out just to go, like, to show that they were still relevant. And it was insane celebrities. It was crazy. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on? And we're like, we're not old enough to drink or anything. We're getting served. We're sitting, we're like, it was nuts.
It is a mental release, though, that I don't think most people can understand, because like Jordan and John, they don't really have anybody to hang out with. So they're like, hey, the party's in town. Like, there's that common ground, that you can, like, you're in a different city. So, you find somebody who has the kind of same lifestyle as you have, who can't really get out, who has to stay safe, doesn't want to be in the wrong situation. And we go into Bar One,
I was going the wrong place. I was walking around like Universal City Walk with all the tourists. Being like trying to like find boys. Like, that was not, I should have been at Bar One with all y'all.
Well, there's that. I mean,
never
we did
for that.
Even when we were in the Mickey Mouse Club, we would sneak into the park all the time. Don't get me wrong. We'd be hey, I'm going to get a bagel at Craft Services. We'd leave school and not come back. We'd be on a great movie ride, or like, getting a girl's phone number or something. So we did plenty of that, believe me.
That's so fun. And then, okay, so the party ends, you finish up, you do another year on Mickey Mouse Club, and then you're like, I'm moving out to LA for good.
He moved out to LA. He moved out to LA before his last year on the Mouse Club. And his last year when he was hosting, he was living in LA when they made the offer.
Got it.
Yeah, I just moved there, and they're like, you want to come back? And I'm like,
I was like, don't say no.
Yeah.
And that was just you and Tiffany. And do you feel like there was resentment between the other members of the party for that when you got that offer?
No, because see, at that age, we were all trying.
Liar!
No, well, I don't. I don't, because I think we were all trying to navigate. We were all trying to fight who we already were. Okay, so we were already trying. We were trying not to be Disney. We were trying not to be.
You were doing everything. Yeah.
Right, and the truth is, later in life, I realized, well, that was a big mistake. It was great to kind of try to figure it all out, but you really have to go with who you are and what God gave you. And that's it's something that even doing Mickey Mouse Club stuff now and the reunion stuff, the power of us being together, the power of the party being in one room together, is undeniable. When we all can hold our own as a soloist, but it's just not the same.
Except for Damon.
I gotta disagree with you, brother.
He's tone deaf, Chase. He knows it.
Have
I
you
know
ever-
it.
If you ever walk in his house while he's in the shower and he's going to town and he's singing Black Crows, it sounds like Chris Robinson. I think
well,
when he gets in
Loves
front of people,
himself a
he
Chris
freezes.
Robinson.
Right. So he's got one go-to song that he carries.
Hey, man,
like every
don't
karaoke
stop.
person. Yeah, he's got that go-to song. But if you were to play him a song, if you played him a C on the piano and say match
All right.
the note.
Well, let me say
like,
this then. He can't. Yeah, if you tell him where the note is, he can sing it. But let me gift you with this. I truly think Damon has the best talent out of everybody.
100%.
And it's the guy. If he walks in a room and there's people, I see people. They go, "Who in the hell is this guy?" And they want to hate him. I've seen it.
100%.
And by the end, within minutes, they have their arms around him. They're singing. You know, he is the most incredible person. When he walks in a room, he can just light it up. He's lightning in a bottle. I don't think he realizes what that is as a talent, right? Alaa?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I will always say that his personality, I've never seen anything like it. In fact, I model myself after him when I go into public places. And I'll say that because that's why I'm a socialite, Christine, if you've noticed. I have friends all over places. And we spoke about airport bars. I can talk to anyone at an airport bar. You probably could not do that, okay?
And that's true. No, you're absolutely right. You do have a talent for airport bars.
That's the Damon mentality. Damon can go walk into a room, and it's that chameleon mentality where he will fit into any kind of scenario he's in. Yes, anything. That's absolutely right, Chase. I won't take that away from him, but he cannot fucking sing.
Yeah, I've always been an all, and again, that's kind of the gift of being in the Mickey Mouse Club and the party is like being around all these talented people and learning from each other. And
live shows.
Yeah.
Who did they mute in the live shows?
They would try.
Thank you.
Hey,
So
but
Chase,
again, he was out there rocking it, man, shaking his hips, making the girls go crazy.
Yeah. Oh no, he was like a hard talk. And you guys also grew up during a time of like Teen Beat and all those. I mean, I went to so many of those shoots at Screamland and all those teen magazines. It was
crazy time.
Here was my problem with you guys as someone who's a little bit older is you took, and you can admit this, you just did a little bit. You guys took for granted your potential of, you went from fame and relying on what was happening at the moment and not on what your potential of the next step would be. Like you just sort of like sat in that and expected it a little bit to happen. Didn't you? So when you moved to LA, because when you moved to LA, you didn't realize the audition game, the amount of talent that was out here.
Which is why
you thought I'm coming. Yeah. Which is like, I just came from a show that's been all over, that's worldwide, right? In a group you toured with Vanilla. I mean, just name the people that you toured with.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice, High Five, Color Me Bad, Taylor Dane. Yeah.
Right.
And you go on stage. There's 10,000 people waiting for you every night. You start to believe that you're not gonna have any problems.
Right.
So when we got to LA, I saw the big pond. And so when I went back to Mickey Mouse Club, a lot of the there was more like weirdness from those guys. They were like, "Why are you coming back?" It was weird weird from them, and they were like, "Why would you come back here?" Because they were looking up to the party, wishing they could be in the party, wishing they could be doing that. And I was like, guys, it's a hard, but there's a lot of people out there doing exactly what you want to do, and talented ones, right? People who never get their break. So again, you got to take it where you can take it and just run with it and do you.
That's right.
That was part 1 with Chase Hampton from The Party. We'll be back next week with part 2, talking more about career advice, The Party, and what Chase has been up to since then. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.